Hey folks, good morning, good day to all. Let's wait for a few minutes because I'm waiting to, people to join. Maybe people can join. We can just get started. All right. Myself, Satish. I would be leading this session. I would be the trainer for your entire course. This is about we are here to learn about the automation course, the cloud automation using Python and Terraform course, right? So I have to introduce myself. I have 10 plus years of experience into cloud automation and DevOps industry. I've started my career as a backend developer for cloud, and then I have started learning about the platform engineering, started picking up the DevOps, automation, and stuff like that. Now I do kind of entire architecture implementation and do the cloud engineering work and DevOps practices as well. So this is my wide range of profile, and I will be the trainer for your session. I'm going to give you the introduction part and what are we going to see in this particular course, right? We are going to set the right expectation, and we are going to see what are we going to cover in this course. And initially, you guys must be having a lot of questions before we start the session. So we will discuss all these things, right? So first, I would like you guys to introduce yourself so that, I'll get to know the background of you guys, right? So maybe I'll just start with the alphabetical order, which is there in my list, right? Azar Muhammad, can you introduce yourself? Maybe a bit of your experience you're from, eh, and anything else that you want to convey, right?
Hey, hi. I have a
Hi.
DevOps experience for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm looking for like any like automation like in Terraform and using Python scripting.
Okay, awesome. So you have not done any programming or scripting earlier, right?
I
You're
did
looking
no,
for to
I
get
did
started.
Bash, I did Bash shell scripting,
Bash.
but not programming.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, cool.
Mm.
Thank you very much, Azar. Kasi.
Yeah, hi, Satish.
Hi.
Myself, Kasi here. I have 5 years of experience in IT. And DevOps side,
Mm-hmm.
mainly I'm working on the cloud and the Ansible side and
Mm-hmm.
Kubernetes as well.
Awesome.
In going and further going days, we are going to start the infrastructure migrating into the cloud. So that's why I'm able to learning Terraform for that.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, that's my side. Yeah,
Cool. Thank you very much, Kasi.
yeah.
Maz.
Hi, Satish. This is Maz here. I
Hey.
have almost 6 to 7 years experience in IT.
Mhm.
I've also already used Terraform extensively, but I want to just brush up my skills and learn everything. Some complex Terraform concepts. That is one
Mhm.
reason. Also on Python,
ఒక్కసారి
I
ఇది
mostly
అయిన
use the
తర్వాత
Bash.
then make sure that we are
Uh,
taking the
Uh,
evidence of it post changing the
One
policy,
second. Arun, can you
Ramesh.
go on mute? Arun? Yeah,
so
thanks. Yeah, go
So
ahead,
the
Maz.
Pythons, yeah. So I've mostly done Bash scripting. So nowadays everyone is looking for Python expert. So I think I want to get my hands dirty with Python as well.
Cool.
So it is learnable, but this is a opportunity for me to like go for it and get the skills of Python scripting.
Awesome.
So that is my purpose of joining this course.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you very much, Maz. Krishnan. Krishnan, can you introduce yourself? I hope, Krishnan, you can hear me. If you're facing some difficulty to unmute and talk, you can just leave a text in the chat box. Maybe people might face some issue because this is the first session. People might be new to this tool, maybe facing some issue. That's okay, absolutely, right? Arun, can you introduce yourself?
Sorry, I am Kishan. So you're asking
Oh,
me?
okay, Kishan. Oh, I'm really sorry I mispronounced your name. I thought it is Krishnan.
Uh,
It is Kishan. All right. Sorry, Krishan. My apologies. Go ahead, please.
Sorry. So I'm Kishan, and I'm working in IT since last 5 years, and
Hmm.
right now working as a DevOps engineer with SRE in Adobe.
Hmm.
So my plan is to I'm looking for a good career ahead. I'm looking for a job change. So that is the purpose to do this course.
Okay.
So I want to enhance my skills in cloud
Hmm.
automation.
Okay.
So yeah,
Cool. Thank you. Thank you
and
very
here
much,
is
Kishan.
one of my
Mm.
colleague also, Ranjit.
Mm-hmm.
So we work
Okay.
uh, in
Ranjit
the
is your
same
colleague.
team. Yeah,
Okay. 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 Awesome. Thank you very much, Kishan.
yeah.
Mahendra.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mahendra.
Hi, Satish. This is Mahinder.
Hmm.
I'm like currently working as a testing
Okay.
senior
Okay.
QA.
Awesome.
So I'm planning to switch my career because like everywhere I see that like everyone is migrating into the cloud. So this is
Yeah.
the opportunity for me to change my career. So that's the reason why I'm looking for all these. Like one of my friend, he recently changed his career into cloud automation. So he
Hmm.
suggested me to look for training and get trained, then we can try to, look for the jobs. So that's the reason why I'm looking for this course,
Awesome.
Satish.
Awesome, Mahendra. So, Mahendra, you work the QA automation and things like that, but have you got a chance to get some introduction about cloud? You
Uh,
worked on or seen some kind of a UI or people working there? Any introduction part that you have done?
so this
Hmm.
not it like on the cloud, like we recently started like migrating all our application onto the AWS cloud.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
So
Okay, cool. Thanks a bunch, Mahendra. Yeah.
thank you.
Mallikarjuna.
So, am I audible?
Yes, you are perfectly audible.
I was facing voice issue, so I couldn't
Hmm.
hear you most of the class. I don't know how much it went. Only introduction, right?
No, we are just introducing ourselves. That's it. We have not yet gone
Yeah.
much. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Myself, Mallikarjun Reddy. I've been working in the IT industry for the past 5 years.
Hmm.
So mostly I work on Linux, Veritas
Hmm.
cluster, SAN storage, and I work on a private cloud OpenStack.
Okay.
So I want to give a switch to public cloud with like AWS or Azure, and I want to learn the automation of those cloud also.
Hmm.
So that's why.
Okay. Cool. Thanks a
Yeah,
bunch, Mallikarjuna.
I don't know
Hmm.
anything about Python. So is it fine, right? I can
Yes. 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 So
anything
I'll
means
come to that
anything.
point, Mallikarjuna. Don't worry about it. I will come to that point. From where we are going to start is from basics. So this includes the fundamentals of Python, and we will go
Mhm.
further with the automation scripts.
Okay. Then,
All right. But just that,
yeah.
it's a request from everyone. You have to follow, do the hands-on what I'm giving, because since people are working, it is a little difficult to do kind of hands-on every day. But you need to spend some time here. That's what my request
Mhm.
is, because when you learn about programming, it's all about practice. It's not just about reading or things like that, right? So it needs hands-on. That's the only thing I will
Mhm.
request from everyone during my course. You need to spend some time, at least after the class, spend some half an hour to 1 hour to just recollect, just to do hands-on. It's okay, even if we have understood completely, that's okay. Do it once. That's what I suggest. So if you follow that, the programming would be very easy. That's it. All right. Yeah. Thank
Yes,
you very
yes.
much for your introduction, Malikarjuna. I see a name called as MJM, but I'm not sure. I don't know about your full name. Can you introduce
Uh,
yourself?
yeah. Hi, Arun. Mohsin this side
Hey,
from Pune.
Mohsin.
So good
Okay.
morning, all. Yeah.
Good morning.
So I
Yeah.
have total 6 years experience. In the past
Mhm.
working at TCS and Tech Mahindra, and currently
Mhm.
working in Capgemini as
Okay.
a cloud in cloud AWS only. So my
Mhm.
position is a lead cloud engineer. So I
Okay.
want to explore more knowledge in Python and Terraform, like.
Mhm. Okay. Cool.
So this
So
will be
you
my
do all the cloud engineering work manually so far, right?
yes,
You
yes,
wanna
yes,
do the automation into this. Okay, perfect.
yes.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
Arun. Arun, I think you're in two call. Can you hear me, Arun? Or Arun, can you go on mute?
Okay.
I don't know whether Arun
Just
can hear
carry the
me.
evidence right away, Ramesh. And
Okay, so he muted. Thanks. Rahul.
Hi, I'm Rahul. So
Hey.
basically, I'm from non-IT background. So I'm.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Mm-hmm.
been like 6 months. Like I got a job as a DevOps engineer. So
Mm-hmm.
managing the job.
Okay.
Simultaneously,
Awesome.
I'm learning few stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on a Azure cloud, and
Mm-hmm.
we use like Snowflake, SQL database, and all of this stuff. So I'm
Okay.
also learning SQL at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
in our company, like they give tasks like automate the stuff which we repeat, like which we do all very frequently. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason I want to learn.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's how I.
Thanks. Thanks, Rahul.
Yeah. So
Ranjit. Yeah. 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 Go
yes,
ahead.
that
Sorry.
is okay. So I don't
Go
have
ahead.
like much knowledge on the any coding part. So just to make
Mm-hmm. Okay.
sure I'm letting
Don't
you
worry.
know.
Here we are going to start from scratch. Here, everyone here is like, at least I understood that people who is coming here wants to learn about the scripting stuff, the infrastructure as a code from scratch, because it is very difficult if someone, if they don't have any mentor or someone to guide them in terms of programming, right, where to start and how to go in the path. So I will be taking you in the way that you will be able to pick that skill. Okay,
Okay.
don't worry about that.
Is this the same timing? Like you're gonna.
No, no. This is a demo timing, and usually in the class timing a little bit early. But the timing would be like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. in IST. But we will discuss about the class timing. Okay, so we'll go ahead with uh, the timing which we discuss. So
Uh,
admin people, the visual path admin will call you individually, get in touch with you, and follow up on that. All right.
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rahul. Ranjit.
Hello everyone. My name is
Hey.
Ranjit Kumar.
Hmm.
Uh, I have 6 years experience in telecom and IT industry.
Okay.
Currently I am working as a DevOps engineer.
Hmm.
I am looking for cloud and cloud automation for the enhancing better skills and
Hmm.
careers.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Ranjit.
Thanks.
Okay, cool. Vijay,
Hello, am I
hi.
audible?
Yes, you are perfectly audible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hello, all. I'm Vijay from Chennai. Actually,
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
a AWS cloud engineer, working as a AWS
Okay.
cloud engineer with Linux background. Linux
Mm-hmm.
hands-on experience in Linux.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 7 years. I got a 7 years experience. My total IT experience 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
According to the automation, that is coding, I am a zero.
Okay. Okay.
Zero knowledge. Zero
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. I never try
Okay.
to switch over to the automation. That is a coding side.
Automation.
I never touch.
Okay.
Yeah, from the beginning, my career is in the backend. That is a Linux
Okay.
administration,
Administration,
storage.
full of
Yeah,
administration.
yeah,
Okay.
cloud
Cool.
very
Understood.
comfortable. AWS cloud very comfortable
Cool.
AWS cloud.
Understood. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. Nice. Thank you very much, Vijay.
Thank you.
Did I leave anyone? I don't think I left anyone. I've covered everyone. Okay. Cool. Let me go ahead. All right. So this course, people would be having a lot of things in mind. Uh, okay. I didn't leave anyone, right? I covered everyone. Okay. Awesome. So this course, people would have a lot of thoughts in your mind that, like, I don't know anything, a bits and piece of programming. I don't know anything about coding, how it will look. I never written the code in my career. Maybe during the engineering you must have studied about C programming or something. That's the last programming that you've done. People may think that. Don't worry about it, I would say, because here I'm going to talk from the very basic perspective, because we are going to cover two kind of automation tool. One is Terraform and the other one is Python. Why I'm covering two automation tool, Terraform and Python? Because that becomes essential part in the cloud industry nowadays. Some people use Python, some people use Terraform, but people who is searching for job, they need some skill which needs to be like, on type on Terraform or Python. Why we have written in this way, as in, Terraform is currently there in the industry for automation. It is there interacting with these two, is basically interacting with almost all the cloud. Basically, take an example: Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, Alibaba, any cloud that you take, this automation tool supports. Now, first we'll talk from the Terraform, and then we'll go with Python. I'll just explain the curriculum, what are we going to cover. And you guys, any doubt, please stop me right away. See, whenever I explain something, if you guys have some question, unmute and talk. Stop me right away and unmute and talk, clarify your doubts. At the end also, I will keep some buffer time to discuss all your doubts, so don't worry about like asking the question. But one thing is, if you're hesitant to ask some questions, keep posted in the chat box. I will answer it. Don't worry about that. All right. Okay. So we will start our code. So basically, I assume everyone has at least a basic knowledge about what is AWS, what is cloud computing. Anyway, I will start from the fundamental of what is cloud computing, how we will get into AWS and things like that. If people are completely new, I will guide you how to create your AWS account. How we will get into this. But one thing is, every day, whatever the class that we are seeing here, please do the hands-on. That's what I suggest with everyone. Why? Because if you don't do the hands-on, the next to next day class will be little difficult for you to pick up, because day by day the concept will be increasing, right? So we'll start with our introduction about cloud and AWS. First of all, why? Because we are focusing on the AWS cloud in Terraform. People who wants to learn with Azure, here the focus is fully on AWS, but Azure also you can do it in parallel. I will help you to set up the Azure cloud, Azure automation script. I'll give you task also on the Azure, but thing is, primary focus is AWS. Why? Because we need one cloud to be stick with to complete all the topics in Terraform, because Terraform has various topics. If you want to cover all the topics, we will focus on one cloud covering all the topics. Once you're comfortable with the topic, you can do the automation for any cloud. It is not specific to AWS. If you know Azure, if you learn Azure, if you learn Google Cloud, anything, you can automate using a Terraform with any kind of cloud. So because to cover the concept, all the concept in Terraform, we need to stick with one cloud, and we will cover it. Why I'm sticking with AWS? Because Azure is giving only 1 month free trial account. So if you guys are having Azure account, you guys can parallelly look into this, whatever the concept that I'm telling with Terraform, parallelly apply your knowledge on Azure. You can implement it on Azure, and I will help you to if you face any issue, or if you want to learn that, or having some doubt that how it is going to work in Azure, I will completely help. All right. So we are going to talk about full concept in Terraform, because when we say Terraform, there are some syntax, there are some topics inside that which will cover the coding style, right? So that is we need to completely understand. So first, we need to understand what is infrastructure as a code. There are many tools in the market. We have Ansible, Chef, Puppet, Terraform. We're going to talk about Terraform. Why? Because it is mainly for infrastructure as a code, because other tools are basically does the configuration management also, but Terraform does not do much configuration management. All right. Just a minute, guys. There's somebody on the door. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. So we will have to do the Terraform setup in our machine first of all. So you can do Terraform setup on Linux if you have MacBook or Windows, any kind of platform, because you can set up this Terraform in any kind of platform because it is platform independent. But you need to have Azure account or AWS account if you want to practice, because you're going to create the resources on any of the cloud, right? So you need to have your AWS account. I'll tell you how to create an AWS account. How do we do the CLI setup? These both are important in order to proceed our Terraform automation, right? And we need to understand about the services in AWS. So you can ask me, how are we going to automate? First, we will do the manual creation. So any resources on AWS. So first, we need to understand the basic services. You guys must be aware of the basic services. If you're not knowing about it, how to create or something, don't worry. I will explain you how we will do it manually first, and then we will automate it, right? So we talk about the different services in AWS called EC2, VPC, S3, IAM. So these are a short form. If you are doubt that what is this, don't worry. I will explain about each and everything when we are automating the stuff. But we're not going to see the complete AWS topic or services to automate. But what are we going to learn here in this course is a generic form that any kind of task which is coming to me, because we may see some scenario here. Let's say how to automate the database server deployment with the network or something. That's the scenario. If you are seeing here, it's not going to be the same scenario that is going to that you're going to get in your work environment. You will get n number of scenarios in your work environment. What you need to understand the dynamics and the generic way of how are we going to automate the concepts in Terraform. If you're clear about the concepts in Terraform, you can easily apply this knowledge to automate any kind of stuff. That's what we're going to see here. For Azure, you can create your Azure account and understand the basic topics, but we are not fully focusing the Azure, but I will help you to do all kind of automations with Azure here, because we are our focus full syllabus is on the Terraform, not on the sticking to one cloud. So fully on the Terraform path. So we will understand the Terraform basics. So first we will understand about the basic commands, the HCL syntax, right? So what is HCL? HCL is not a company. You guys know that HCL is a company, right? So HCL programming is basically it's a HashiCorp configuration language. The HCL is HashiCorp configuration language because Terraform is owned by HashiCorp, right? HashiCorp is one of the firm. They own this Terraform, tool basically, right? So the HashiCorp programming language is little bit different than the other programming language. If you ask me, is it difficult? No, it is very easy, the extremely easiest syntax, because all the syntax follows in the same way. I will tell you how the syntax is going to be. Writing this Terraform code is pretty easy because everything is already written. There are hell lot of example. Believe me, you do not have to by head anything. The command wise for execution, there are only very less commands. These are the only commands that we have in Terraform, right? So you have Terraform init. These are all the commands basically, guys. Terraform init, validate, plan, apply, destroy. What it does, we're going to see that detailing in this course, right? Each and every command has different operation, different scenario. We will perform different command, but you do not have to by heart anything. You do not have to struggle writing this Terraform code at all. Why? Because there are a lot of examples, a lot of automations which are already there, and the documentation perfectly supports you to write your syntax. Okay, so we need to understand how the language works. If there are some issue with your code, how do you debug? How to write the blocks, arguments? What is the attributes? What is identifier? What is comments? How do we write the comments? We will write. We'll talk from the introduction about this Terraform syntax, and then we have different blocks in our Terraform code. We need to write the settings block, provider block, resource block. Why we have different blocks? Because when we are writing a Terraform code, right? When we let's say when we are provisioning the infrastructure, we might need to provision like a lot of resources. Say for example, a big company has a network which consists of 65,000 IP address, and that's going to provision 100 servers in an automated way. So for all this kind of whether you write a code to provision one server, whether you write a code to provision 100 server, everything is going to be same. because it's an automation way, right? So when you're writing such a larger infrastructure, you need to follow some discipline that you need to maintain all the configurations in somewhere, maintain all the data which you read from AWS somewhere, keeping all the variables somewhere. So if you don't know what is variable, what is data and things like that, we will see that here. But we have different blocks to manage different configurations. So we will see which block to manage which resources, which code, right? So we will have to understand the different blocks in Terraform. So once we written all this command, all these scripts, how do we execute? That is with the Terraform commands. We'll understand what is the workflow here in Terraform commands. We'll have to follow some workflow. What is the workflow? Let's say you want to provision one server in AWS. What would you need to do? You need to write a script. You need to write a script, right? After you have written the script, just say execute, it doesn't execute. So what you need to do is you need to, because it's an infrastructure, tomorrow in your company's environment you're writing some code for the production environment, right? Let's say you're working for Flipkart and you're writing some code to provision some server. Already the servers are running, you're trying to upgrade some server. When you're trying to upgrade the server, you're writing a code. If you directly apply it without even any strategy, what will happen? The production server, existing server may go down and the new infrastructure may not come up, right? So that's a issue because customer will be affected. So you need to follow some discipline. So we need to understand the workflow that we are following in our Terraform, right? So I'll take a pause right here. Do you guys feel that I'm going a little faster? If you feel I'm going a little faster, let me know. And if you have any questions or doubt to clarify, please let me know, guys. Are we good at this stage? May I know
Yes,
that
yes, yes. Going good.
Yes.
okay.
Everything.
Okay.
No,
No one
nice.
has any questions, right? Yeah, thanks. If you have any questions, as I told you, unmute and talk to me. I'm fine. Or you can leave the comments in your text box because I'm following that. So don't worry that if you leave a text, I will not follow. I will follow that. So don't worry. Right. So you need to understand about the meta argument. So these are all the small topics in this Terraform. Why we need to use this meta argument? Meta arguments helps you to follow some kind of a rule. Says that, let's say you need to provision a server. Before provisioning a server, you need to create the network first. You need to create the subnets. You need to create some sort of resources, dependent resources. So if you need to maintain the flow or life cycle properly, you need to have kind of meta argument defined in your code so that VPC gets created first. Before VPC, if the instance created first, right, what will happen? Instance creation will fail because VPC is not exist. So there is a flow in any cloud. If you take, the resources are interdependent between other resources. So when you want to maintain a kind of a sequence, you need to follow this meta argument concept. How we will apply this meta argument concept, we will see that, right? And Terraform variables is something that, like, whenever we are trying to run some Terraform code again and again for different infrastructure, you need to pass different variables. Let's say I'm going to provision a server, multiple servers for different projects. When I say different project will have different project name, server requirement and everything. Every time I just have to provide this as a variable. So when I write the code, I will keep it as a variable, and when I run the code, I will run according to different environment, right? So in that case, I will have to pass the variable. While passing the variable, we have different methods in Terraform. So you can actually give some default variable and try to override with the environment variable, or try to override with your tf vars file. So different approach we have. We will see all the approaches. So why these many approaches, Satish? Why don't we have one approach to follow? Because this all will be followed in different scenario with different purpose. So we use this, we will see all the concepts what is provided by Terraform. Different features have been provided. We will see when we will use what type of concept. Okay. And we have some advanced concepts, like when we have a list of values, how do we map it, how do we validate the rules, and sensitive input variable. This is very important because let's say you're trying to create a server. For server, you will enter some password, right? If you put it in a hard coded value in writing your code, this is not secured way to pass the variables, right? Anyone who is looking into the code can get the password. So you need to provide it in a sensitive input so that the variable will be encrypted and kept it, right? And also we have some Terraform functions. How do we use a file system, collections, strings, numeric functions? So some functions we have it in order to do some kind of operations using files with some data types. We have Terraform functions. We'll see that. And very importantly, Terraform values. What do you mean by Terraform values? Like, how are we going to pass some values to Terraform? How are we going to read some output values from Terraform? Let's say you're provisioning a server. After creation of server, the server will have the IP address, right? Maybe the IP address, and it will have some kind of parameters. Those values, how will you get after provisioning the infrastructure? So you will have to understand how do we write the output values, the local values, things like that, right? And we have, very importantly, the data source is similar to the meta arguments. I'll tell you about it. But very importantly, the backends. What is backends? uh, let's say today you're provisioning 5 servers. This server is being used for the developers in a team, right? After 1 year, they want to upgrade the server. Now we created the server. The server is running in the cloud. Now we need to maintain the state of the Terraform script what we have written. So if we execute, the state will become the instance will become running, and the running instance details should be captured somewhere. So in Terraform we have something called as state file. What is the state file? State file contains the current infrastructure state, which means whether the resource is provisioned, what is running, and whether the resource is like provisioned with 5 count or 10 count. Any kind of infrastructure state will be captured in a configuration file that is called as Terraform state. That state file is very very important because I told you after 1 year, if you're trying to upgrade your infrastructure, what will happen? You need to know the existing state of the infrastructure. With that existing state, you will upgrade your infrastructure. So you need to maintain that state file somewhere. You can maintain in your local, but that's not the best practice. So local state storage is something that we do it in our course. We can also do the remote state storage, which means we will store it in our S3 bucket in AWS, or you can store it in a cloud. You can store in a GitHub environment, anywhere that you prefer. How we will manage this state files, because that's very important part of this Terraform, right? And we'll talk about the workspace. Workspace is a pretty easiest concept, like how we will manage our local backend and remote backend with our local workspace. If, let's say we are working with multiple projects, how do we manage this infrastructure workspace, the code in our local, right? And we have Terraform provisioners. Provisioners will be helpful to uh, execute some kind of operation with the remote servers or in your local servers. So we have local execute provisioner, remote exec provisioner. You can create a null resource. Let's say why this null resources. I'll tell you the concept. While looking at real-time scenario, I'll tell you why we need to create some null resources, right? And very importantly, Terraform modules. Let's say Vijay and Kasi is automating some script to provision some sort of infrastructure, maybe a big infrastructure for some project, maybe a database with VPC with different concepts. Now they need to start from scratch to write it. But Mallikarjuna already have written that and published in a Terraform cloud, saying that in a registry he just put his code in a generic way so that anyone can just download and use it. So what Vijay and Kasi can do? Hey, we will search first instead of just writing it from scratch. And I'll just go in a public registry and search for some module and see if someone written some module. How can I use it? So just go to the repository, just include that in your code, which will be easier for you to include in your code. That's it, right? So how do we use the existing module? We'll see here. And we talk about the Terraform, how the Terraform cloud works. But many of the company is not directly using the Terraform cloud. We will use our own cloud to maintain all these policies and things like that. We don't see this much, but I will tell you about the introduction, because I have not seen anywhere, like, at least in my experience, I've not seen people have used this. But we have this concept, but people, because the cost is different. The important part is cost, right? So that is something that we need to consider. And we talk about the dynamic expression, dynamic block, and Terraform graph, which will generate a graph for you. That's something that, why the Terraform graph? Because I told you, right, the resources are interdependent between multiple resources. Which resource should create first, and what is the flow, we will get to know with the Terraform graph. All right. Okay, any questions, folks? So far, I've just explained what we will be covering in this Terraform course to set the expectation, not specific to cloud. It's fully, to learn the Terraform concepts. If you learn this concept, you can apply this in any kind of cloud. That's why I told you in the initial that we'll stick with one cloud. We'll go with any sort of cloud automating it. So if you're working on any cloud, Google Cloud or Oracle Cloud, any cloud, you can start working with Terraform on day one itself, because Terraform concept is what we are going to see. But you can apply. Only thing is, you need an initial configuration. I will explain how do you do the initial configuration, and then all the code are going to be very simple to adopt for any kind of cloud. Okay. Any questions, folks? Questions, doubt, feedbacks? So what I've covered is for Terraform. I'll go ahead with the Python next. But any questions or comments, doubts? Are you bored, or are you able to understand? Guys, any feedback you can let me know.
No,
Anything that you
no,
feel?
No
you are
issues.
giving the introduction only, na? I can understand.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
intro only, na? Yeah, we can got the point.
Yeah, good, Satish.
Okay. Cool. Thank you very much, folks. I'll proceed with the Python syllabus. What are we going to cover? So here we are going to cover about the fundamentals of Python. So why we need to go for Python? What is the feature advantage of using Python? And with cloud AWS, we have a framework called as Boto 3. How we will use the Boto 3 framework for Python is what we will see here, right? Now, when we say Boto 3, what is Boto 3? Boto 3 is one of the framework for AWS, which is supported for Python programming. Okay, so you need to learn about Python. We'll start from understanding about Python. So what is Python? How do we set up? What is the data type? What is the data structure in Python? The basic concepts in Python. How do we write the conditions, if else condition, loops, functions, methods, oops concepts, all the concepts in Python we will talk. It is core Python concepts, fully on core Python concept. It will take a time. We'll spend more time on this, at least 2-3 weeks. We'll see about Python concept. At least 2 weeks we'll see about like how the Python is going to work. We'll talk about this, like, the the concepts. It depends on you guys. It's not the time is fixed. I usually go with, like, people preference, because when we come to programming, it's something that people might need a little more of hands-on, because say they didn't get the complete concept of it. So in that case, I would need to spend time with you guys to make you understand. So I will spend time on understanding the concepts in Python, right? And then we will move to AWS SDK for Python. Similarly, many SDKs have been provided for all the clouds, but you just have to understand the Python concept and how do we integrate without, mm, a cloud SDK. Now, Boto 3 is one of the framework. We will understand how Boto 3 works, right? We will write some code to provision the server, to create any resource, create S3 bucket, create different sort of resources in AWS. We will install Boto 3 and we will create multiple scenarios. I have not given all the scenarios because we have different sort of scenarios with our AWS, and we will see how do we automate kind of a different uh, big scenarios in our AWS. And then we talk about a migration introduction. This is just an introduction part, guys, but that's all about it. But here, why it is kept it very small is because whatever we are going to see in
Yes,
this,
sorry
like,
for the Sorry for
Yes.
the interpret.
Yes.
Did you cover this one also? Cloud migration overview, that is a DB migration, fully covered?
It's just a basic. It's not fully about how we will cover about the each tooling and things like that, but what is a way to do kind of a migration when you're trying to automate, but not about the complete migration. It's not relevant to this course first of all, but people have asked about some introduction they can do it. That's why
Okay,
we
okay,
just
okay,
included, but it's not
okay,
related
okay.
at all, because
Yeah, yeah,
automation is
yeah.
entirely different from migration. It's just the
Yes, yes,
basic
yes.
overview that in the previous batch I just covered it, but I included it here. But there is no inclusion. I mean, there is no use of having this in the cloud automation course basically.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
All right. Yep. You can ignore this part because few introduction part they've asked. Personally, I've just covered it. That's it. All right. Any questions, comments, or doubts? Now it's open to you guys because you guys might be having a lot of doubts, right? So
Uh,
please open up.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. This Vijay. Actually, frankly speaking, this is
Mm-hmm.
the fourth time I joined for Terraform. Already three
Mm-hmm.
times I studied. I could not understand.
Okay. Okay.
Just for information, this is the fourth time I joined.
Okay, okay. No,
Fourth was
don't
for
worry.
Terraform.
You will
Already
definitely.
three times.
The
Yeah,
only
three
thing is
times.
again,
Yeah,
again, I'm
tell me.
telling one thing is very important is hands-on is very very important. So whatever the concept I'm going to tell, every day you need to practice at least 15 to 20 minutes on the topic what I've covered because
No, some of the
it
trainer,
is
I'm
something.
not blaming all.
Mhm,
Some of the trainer not
mhm.
teaching me. They showed their talent. They showed me their talent. The intention is not teaching to me.
It depends. Maybe yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It depends, right? So
yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe if you want to see about my teaching or something, you can
Teaching is a
you can
different.
get
Teaching is
some
a different.
exactly.
Yeah, teaching is a different. Showed their talent is a different. They showed that they are very good, but I cannot understand what they are telling. But I accepted they are very talented people.
But the only thing is like you need to I mean we need to see in the way that what is a basic and primarily I need to make you understand and I will let you to share your screen to see what have you done so far. So that's something important in my way of style. You can get the some of the recording in the previous batch from the admins and to see some of the class maybe in between of the course how I handle. If you get to know, you might get my way of teaching style.
Okay.
Because when the people will get confused, when the trainer uses lot of jargons without even telling what that jargon is about, then people get confused that what is it, right? Then that's where the confusion start, that people might not understand. So I need to make you understand what is the jargon, then I will tell you how what are the way we can automate. So that's about this course, right?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you
Yes,
for
Ram.
Yes,
thank
it
you very
is.
much for the genuine feedback, Vijay. That's actually very important for everyone to get start. People will struggle, right? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mas.
Yeah,
Try to talk something else.
I have two
Yes.
questions. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
there are two quick, straightforward questions.
Mm-hmm.
First is this is 30 days course, right? If I'm
Mm-hmm.
not wrong,
Yeah.
45 days.
30 hours basically, like it's not fixed, I would say, because if you just come with the mind that only 30 hours or only 35 or 25 or something, I go with the topics covered and the knowledge that you get. So our average hours I will say that, but it may go beyond that
So
because it depends on our capability. Everyone has individual
uh,
capability. I'll go with the batch feedback. Sorry, you are breaking for me at least. I'm sorry, Mars. Is it same for everyone? He's breaking for me at least. Folks?
Yeah, it's breaking for me as
is
well.
it any better now?
Okay, I think he left.
I have one question.
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, I want to do Terraform certification. Is this enough to go ahead with
It will
certification?
help you. Yes, it will help you. So Terraform certification, you will get a lot of scenario-based questions, Terraform, concepts in detail. So this will help you for the associate certification. You can do it.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Satish, which one do you prefer, Mac or Windows for this?
Anything is a you do not worry about any platform for this. I would say you can go ahead with any platform. I use Windows, right? So you can go with Mac. Mac is fine, or even if
Which
you have Linux, also fine. So no worries about the operating system.
So will there be any changes in the code or
No, no
when you
changes, no
no?
changes. Configuration wise, uh, we will set up the Terraform first. In Windows, I just use a SDK to just install. In Mac, you will just use a command, brew command. That's it. But after installation, everything is same. I will
Okay.
help you on the installation. If you're stuck, I will help you. I will give you the command, but if you're stuck, I will help you as well. So I have prepared the PPT with all the informations needed to set up your, Terraforms. You see here. So I will give you all the introduction. I will give you all the commands for you guys. So that won't be a problem for you.
Okay.
Then one more question I would like to ask. This is Vijay.
Hmm. Yeah.
The timing is only 7:30, 9 o'clock. The same time is possible
No,
because
no.
continuation.
Timing, don't worry about it. No one has to worry because the admins will discuss with you and then we'll
Hmm.
go with the timing. It will be a little early. It will not be like at this time. So
Okay,
this is just for
okay,
demo, and Saturday is like, everyone will spend on their weekend, right? So weekend we don't have class. On the
okay,
very first beginning session, we kept it in the weekend, but everyday class will be on the weekdays in the morning, early morning.
okay, okay,
All right?
okay.
Can we
Yeah,
have
Kishan, you had some doubt.
evening
Yeah, yeah.
evening timing?
Uh, we'll discuss that, Kishan, because we'll go with the. I will try that, but yeah, first we will discuss. Maybe individually you will be contacted, right? So we'll get the preference and we'll see. Evening is for me it is little difficult for now, but uh, we'll see that. I'll discuss what is the difficulty, right? But in timings you don't have to worry for now. You will be contacted. Okay,
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
no problem. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Satish, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, there was a network issue. So as I
Hmm.
said, I have two quick questions. One is like,
Yeah,
so do you spend more time on Python or Terraform? That is my first question. The percentage, I mean, roughly, not like we cannot exactly measure that, but roughly, are we spending more time on Terraform or more focus on Python? That is what I wanted to know.
I would say it is equally because Terraform will see all the concepts and then we see about Python introduction and then Boto 3. Boto 3 and Python introduction will equally take time as like Terraform because Terraform has more concepts inside this. We'll cover it. So it's like equally, I would say, or little lesser for Terraform and little more for Python also, or it would be equal. So
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. And also wanted to know if you could provide any notes for this training because really, I mean, really focus. I feel it very important to have notes because let me just tell you, I've attended some previous trainings where
hmm
the instructor has provided notes. You
hmm
notes, I know. See, there are lots of documentation available for Terraform and Python
yes,
on internet, but when you just let's suppose want to revise any particular topic, let's suppose Terraform variables, for example,
yes, yes,
maybe down the line after a few months, you cannot
yeah,
go back and watch your entire video for 1 or 2 hours. That will be
exactly.
difficult.
So
So if you have
so
some
what?
summary notes
Mhm.
somewhere, we quickly
Yeah,
refer. Okay, then we can recall. Okay, this is what Satish said. So this is what it summarizes for me. This is what I
yeah.
need to remember. This is how I can refresh my, my concepts on that particular topic. So instead of me writing those notes, I mean, as you said, like spending 15, 20 minutes If you write notes and watch the videos every day, you definitely have to spend more than 1 hour or 2 hours,
Exactly.
sometimes, or maybe
Exactly.
3 hours. So it
Understood.
will be very helpful us to get a note so that everybody can benefit. Uh, I don't know it is possible for you or not.
Understood. Understood. So here I will give you the notes with the PPT, whatever that I prepared for each and every topic I have prepared with all the points, summary points, and things like that. I have all the PPTs for this, and also I will give you the code, whatever that we are practicing during our sessions, because that will help you just to quickly refer if you want to recall. When you look at this, you will be able to easily recall it, right? So I will provide you the ppts, the code, and you will get the recording. So all these things you will definitely get it. Along with that, I will have a reference of which documentation you can easily refer in order to get more kind of concepts in that. So that will be provided for sure.
Okay, thank you, Suresh.
No problem. Yeah.